Today, we're going to be talking about how you can find an agent for your book and publish through a traditional publishing house. I'm going to share with you what it's like, good or bad, and let's get going. Professional query package. Well, that's just this query letter talking about yourself, your book, why your book or you could be marketable. You have to have your manuscript polished and print ready, or at least to the degree that you think it is, and know the word count in your genre. If you feel that your book is perfect and it's under or it's over, then stick with it. But in the case that it isn't, I'll show you how to fix it. So where are you going to find an agent? Well, there's a lot of ways to do it. Here's a few examples. So from Query Tracker, which is what I used, MSWL, or Publishers Marketplace, or just go directly to the literary agency sites. And of course, there's pitch conferences and online pitch events. Is it the right agent for you? Do they even like your genre? Have they made any recent sales? And of course, I guess there is 3, are they open for queries? And sometimes they may give you a date when they're open. You're going to have to pay attention to that because these guys get hundreds, if not thousands of requests a year, and it's that competitive. So when you send off to, let's say, 10 to 20 agents at a time, you may have to wait months for a response. But those responses will tell you a lot of things. So first off, about 40 to 50% of queries often end up in silence. And they'll state that. They say, if you haven't heard from us, it's a no. Or they might give you a basic boilerplate rejection. That's roughly about 30 to 40% of them. And you'll see something like this and variations of it. So this is the most common actual response. That's actually not even a critique. It's just simply a no. Now, this is where the category where I've fallen in recently, and this is the revise and resubmit. And this is actually relatively pretty rare. So roughly about 1 to 3% of submissions get to the stage where they'll say, no, not yet, but if you fix certain elements of your book, send it back to us and we can reconsider it. This is actually a very positive sign, and it is rare. Now, of all of those that get submitted, roughly only 0.5% to 2% of all queries get at least some sort of offer or representation. And if you're going by 10 to 20 queries every time and you're waiting a few weeks to a few months, that's why I suggest do not stop writing, because you could wait forever. So my particular case, in one of my first rejections with actually more than just simply a boilerplate comment, it said your book is too short. It's not publishable in the genre. And I was writing action adventure, and my book was coming about 55,000 words. But unfortunately, typically you need about a minimum 70,000 or more to be suitable for that genre. So to make that your book publishable, agents need to have the best case possible. And one agent said to me, it's too short. So that was tough. I honestly thought I was print ready. I had it all done. And I needed to take a few weeks off and think about it, and thought, oh man, that's terrible. It's not going to work to do this process. But then when I started to think about the book, and I've done some videos on this too, about how to add word count, is that actually it probably was too short. And there's probably a variety of ways I can improve the book. So for me, I tended to look more at the side characters and even my main character. Is there more opportunity to show motivation, conflict, vulnerability? Can I add more chapters that way with meaning? And then I realized I probably could. And I actually was able to add about 3,000 to 4,000 words. So then I realized I can actually probably add another subplot element in. And that subplot was something that intersects and connects with the main plot. So it still builds on the main story arc, but it adds that mini little sub-arc to advance the story. Now for that, I probably added another 7,000 words. You could also expand world building so you can build up your settings, but I didn't necessarily think that was my problem. But I think there's opportunities to strengthen emotional beats, particularly for my side characters. I was probably making some of them a little bit more one-dimensional, even though this was a series and they're going to have their own arcs. For the first book, I think there was probably more I could flesh out, and I did. And I roughly added about 4,000 words to that as well. So you can see I kind of bumped it up to what the genre minimum is, and then I resubmitted. That's when I got the second revise but resubmit response. So that was a really strong positive. The first ones all said no, but one said no, but fix the story length. So that was very helpful. And then when I went back to my first set of 10 on the second attempt to get an agent after I beefed it up to 70,000 words, that's when I got the revise and resubmit request, which again is a very low percent that do it. And now what I did is based on that is really try to beef up even further the pacing, the character development, and looking at my descriptions. And even though I'm not really cutting that many words, I'm actually trying to improve on the story. And that took me about a few weeks to improve. And now I'm sending it off to an editor. So yes, it's very important sometimes to send to editors your book. Now this time it'd be a development edit to make sure I'm on the right track at a high level. And if so, I'll tweak it a bit more from a copywriting side and then resubmit. And I'll tell you how that goes. And if you do tend to get a comment back from an agent, if it's still a no, still take those words to heart, because not many people will actually respond or comment on your novel. And if you do, treat that like gold. Now, again, you don't have to change anything. You're the author. You can go straight to self-publishing, be an author, your own author publisher, if you think it's strong enough and do it that way, or you can keep submitting to other agents. Even though if I decide to go the author publisher route, I'm set. I'm happy either way, whether I publish on my own or go through an agent publisher. This process has been very beneficial. I'll tell you either way, and I'll guide you through along the process I take next. So hopefully this video helped you. And if you like this video, click like and subscribe. Happy writing.